talking about how, it's really necessary for Tesla. How much longer can they keep this demand up? And obviously, we can see probably through 2023 they'll hold it. But at that point, some competition will have more vehicles out there to choose from. ICE vehicles will be back on the market with supply. So how are we going to keep, Tesla's relevant at that point? And obviously, it's going to be relevant because it's good. But can they have a lower end vehicle that's going to come out? And this is where I'm like, I think the information we're getting out of China with this new factory is going to put us at a place where they're going to be producing the compact car. That is going to be the game changer. And then the robo taxi. So as soon as we get to that point where demand could be wavering, Tesla's ready to come out with something that's going to scoop up that demand. And then we've got FSD. And one of my subscribers today had also mentioned how, we were talking about how the comparison between Apple over the last 10 years and Tesla right now going through this kind of dead stage in a bear market, and how the growth after this could be, exponential for 10 years. And it's like, Apple really took off when they had the App Store. So with Tesla, it'll be FSD. And then Tesla will have their own App Store. And it'll be significantly more relevant when FSD is reality, because people, don't have to focus on driving. They can focus on whatever infotainment that they've got in their car, and then they can utilize that. So I think that's, again, 2025 is that key year in my mind that, FSD, robo taxis, compact car, app store, and who knows where Optimus is going to be at that point. If they're actually going to get to volume production later next year or 2024, who knows what's going to happen at that point. 2025 is going to be just a light bulb moment, and whatever automotive makers are actual players at the time will emerge, and whoever is not is either going to merge with someone else or die.
Now that's definitely all true. And just going back to what you said about demand, like, yeah, we can see the clear path. Let's just say, 2022, it's done. They're sold out, and likely 2023 is going to be similar. But let's say, okay, 2024, they do start to price out with these. Many make the argument now that Tesla is a luxury automaker still. Their cars are pricey, but the trend is going down in the long run. But either way, so they have, let's say, 2 more years where the demand, there's no issue whatsoever. And another argument I see is the margins. People are saying that Tesla has only had these crazy 30% profit margins because they're the only one that's doing this, blah, blah. And I think people it comes down to just not understanding. This has nothing to do with competition. This has everything to do with they're an innovative company. From the second you step into the factory, everything is innovation. I mean, with Tesla, it's almost like you're investing into the gigafactories. You're investing in this manufacturing company, because what are they doing? They're constantly driving down the cost to produce whatever it is they're producing, cars for now. They're doing it more efficiently. You just look at these innovations, like look at the GigaPress, right? Prior to that, for the front and back of a car, it would be hundreds of pieces. The GigaPress now enables them to make one piece for the front, one piece for the back of the car. It's all one piece. And so you pile on all these different things, what they're doing with the robotics, right? All of this leads to why they have those margins. Like it doesn't have anything. I don't see, obviously, when there's a ton of competition and we get to that point, where the prices are driven down, but it's still going to be the case of, okay, now what's going to set the one company apart from the rest when everyone's making EVs? It's going to be the manufacturing process. Well, who's the best manufacturer? We see is Tesla. No one else comes close. So they're going to have the highest profit margins, with inevitably, as long as this continues, they continue to innovate, which I don't see how they would stop. They're not slowing down, So as long as they're able to continue doing that, they're always going to have the most money, let's say, to pump back in to making the most advanced technology. And
Oh yeah.
they're getting all the best talent. I just saw it again for 2021, a Universum survey for where all the engineering graduates want to work. Number one destination, SpaceX. Number two is Tesla. 3 is NASA. There's not one other automaker on that entire, top 10 list.
Yeah, GM was number 17 on that list, and Tesla had 3 million job applicants last year. Like everybody, Tesla literally has their pick of whoever they want to work for.
That's something. And again, it just adds to, there's so many intangibles with this company. There's so many qualitatives that you can't measure as a traditional Wall Street analyst. They don't understand. quarter to quarter, it doesn't mean anything. But over a period of 5 to 10 years, duh, who has the most money, the most innovation, and the best people who want to work there? I mean, it's a no-brainer.
Oh yeah, I mean Tesla is disrupting analysts at this point right now too. And going back to the talk about margins, so when it does get to that point where all the vehicles and they have to make their choice, that's going to be at least 10 years down the road before that even happens. And if it does happen between now and then, think about it. Tesla has 30% margins on their vehicles, whereas everyone else is in the negative. So if Tesla's margins have to come down because of competition, then competition's margins have to come down and they'll go even further into the negative. So like Tesla could even cut their margins in half and they're still going to blow everybody out of the water with profits. It's not even close.
Definitely. And that's, I just don't, it's like I said, if we're looking at this as EVs or who's the best manufacturer, whoever holds both of those titles or just one of the two, Tesla holds both currently, as long as that keeps up, that's the market cap. I mean, we're it's almost like we're looking at it all wrong. Whoever is able to produce the most EVs right now or moving forward in the next 5 to 10 years, that's the only like relevant factor. And even if the others start to catch up, well, when they're selling 1 million EVs a year and Tesla's only selling 1 million EVs a year, then we can, look and say, okay, maybe, this company's a little overvalued. But until that's the case, until they're anywhere close, it's just not an argument to say that, Tesla's overvalued. I mean, they've earned that valuation with what they've been able to accomplish.
Oh, right. And looking at how many other startups are on that list, you may have like the Neo Xpeng, Lucid, Palantir, or not Palantir, Rivian. So I'm like, you've got those other startups, but nobody else is a growth. Legacy auto is not growth, not going to be. And even if you consider their EV sections growth, their ICE is dying. So it offsets whatever growth they're going to have.
And
So
yeah,
that's why you can value Tesla higher, because they are a growth company who are just getting started in a massive market. The total addressable market for Tesla is enormous. And that doesn't even include FSD, robotaxis, and Optimus, because those markets don't even exist yet,
yep.
as we'll know them in the future.
And I think this is a perfect place to wrap up. Just looking at EVs with the ICE or the traditional legacy automakers, we know what their maximum was. So if everything goes perfectly and they just transition their business, they snap their fingers like Thanos, and all their ICE cars become EVs by a miracle, we know where they cap out. GM had, let's say, 8 million sales a year. They're not going to get more than that. Most likely, they're going to get less, because what do we have now that didn't exist 10 years ago or was relevant? Tesla. So they have the most to gain because they are carving out a chunk of this EV market or auto market in general that didn't exist. And who's really the losers here is every other company, or especially the legacy ones who were barely, surviving, not having great profit margins to begin with, struggling with ICE when you really think about it. How are they going to do that with EVs? And they're most likely going to sell a lot less EVs. So maybe
Yeah.
GM's total sales goes down to 5 million. So what does the company look like then when they're even, lower sales?
Yeah, and going back to Ford, we'll find out in 2024 when they separate out their EVs so we can actually see numbers with them. But thinking about how little transparency we have from them because they are not successful with EVs yet, it's going to be a while.